all these rules. Why did you take off from that stop? Let go of your hand. Step. Hand behind your back. Hand behind your back.
One man is 81 and a stroke survivor. The other is deaf and has cerebral palsy. Both of their encounters turn violent in seconds, and it reveals a deadly flaw in modern policing. As a criminal defense attorney, I am going to show you what went wrong in both of these body cam videos, and then I'll give you the legal playbook for what to do if you or a loved one isn't normal. First, let's go to Arkansas. This is 81-year-old Olin Lane. He's just been pulled over by a Deputy Johnson for speeding, but the stop doesn't go normally. Mr. Lane is a stroke survivor with memory issues. He gets confused and drives away. Deputy Johnson pulls Lane over for a second time, slams the car door, storms up the Lane's window. This is a second stop. Deputy Johnson is furious. He immediately escalates. There is zero de-escalation. Johnson yanks this 81-year-old man out of the vehicle, handcuffs him, and shoves him into the back of a cruiser. This is the critical failure. Only after the man is arrested, handcuffed, and shoved in the cop car does a deputy try to find out what's wrong. He's got it completely backward. He used force first and then asked about medical conditions second. This deputy failed to recognize three obvious signs this was not a criminal, but a citizen in crisis. Number one, obvious confusion. The man was disorientated. He didn't understand the stop. He drove away. This is a classic sign of cognitive impairment, not defiance. Number two, difficulty communicating. Mr. Lane couldn't answer basic questions. He's literally struggling to find words. This is a medical symptom, not criminal resistance. And number three, police are trained for this. An elderly man driving erratically who seems confused. This screams silver alert or a medical call. He's a risk to himself, not a threat to the officer. Johnson's first instinct should have been to protect and serve, not attack and arrest. And we know this is true because look at what happens when other officers arrive. They speak calmly. They listen. They learn about his stroke. They uncuff him. They call his daughter. They treated him like a human being, not a suspect. Deputy Johnson was later fired. Now back to the next case, because what happens in Phoenix takes this problem to a whole new level. Now you might think that was a one-off, a single bad cop. Well, look at what happened in Phoenix, Arizona. This case is even more shocking, and it happened after the Department of Justice already cited police in Phoenix for excessive force. This is Tyrone McAlpin. Mr. Alpin is deaf and has cerebral palsy. Police get an unfounded call about a fight at a convenience store. Officer Harris arrives, sees Mr. McAlpin, and this is what happens seconds after he parks his car. There are no questions, no commands, just immediate, overwhelming violence. Harris and a second officer punch Mr. McAlpin at least 10 times and tase him repeatedly while he's on the ground. That's great police work there, right? Think about this. Mr. McAlpin is deaf. He cannot hear any commands. He has cerebral palsy, so his motor control is impaired. His attempts to communicate or shield himself, which he later said was him pointing to his ears, was seen as the officers as resisting arrest and a fighting stance. It gets worse. A woman arrives and tries to tell the officers about his condition. The officers ignore her. In the police report, Officer Harris claimed McAlpin raised his hands to deliver targeted punches at my face, and that's why he attacked. But the body cam shows Harris lunged first. They charged Mr. McAlpin with aggravated felony assault on an officer. Because of this report, this man, who is deaf and disabled, sat in jail for 24 days before he could make bond. The charges were only dropped after this body cam footage was released and caused a public outcry. The officers were later suspended, not fired, because heaven forbid we fire bad officers. These two cases are a masterclass in police failure. The officers operated on a single fatal assumption that anyone who doesn't follow commands immediately is a defiant criminal who must be met with force. But this assumption fails the elderly, fails the disabled, fails the hearing impaired, fails people in diabetic shock, fails people with autism, or anyone who's having a mental crisis. The correct model is assess, don't assume. Their job is to assess the situation before they escalate it, but you can't count on them to do their job right. So what can you do to protect your family? You need to give the officer information that shatters their assumption. You need to make your condition more obvious than your confusion. If you have an elderly parent who drives, do this tonight. Get a laminated card in big, bold letters. It should say, driver is a stroke survivor, may be confused. Please call family member's name and number. Tell your elderly loved one to keep that with their license and registration and hand that to the officer when they're handing over their license and registration. If you are deaf or hard of hearing, the same thing. A card that says, driver is deaf, I cannot hear your commands. Please write your instructions. This simple piece of information can be the difference between a conversation and a tasing. It turns a defiant suspect into a person that needs help. If you are in one of these stops, remember your rights. You have the right to remain silent, but for a vulnerable person, silence can be mistaken for non-compliance. You must find a way to communicate your status. Officer, I am confused and need to call my son. State this clearly. State it calmly. State it on repeat. And for everyone else, be a good witness. Look at what the woman in the McAlpin video did. She ran up, she filmed, and she yelled the officer's missing piece of information. He's deaf. He has cerebral palsy. That's not interfering. That's providing life-saving context. In both of these cases, the system failed. The officers failed. They escalated when they should have de-escalated. And they used violence when they should have used patience. Now, if you watched this far, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. We do like videos for the national audience. Like every Tuesday, we try to at least. And I sure would appreciate a comment. You can write nice comments. You can write mean comments. I don't care. Hey, Mark's great. Hey, Mark, you're a real jerk. Hey, Mark, police should be able to use whatever force they want. People write that stuff to me. I don't think that's true, though. More importantly, if you've been charged with a crime in the great state of Indiana, give us a call, 317-632-3642. We would love to talk to you about your options. But most importantly, I want to remind you to always plead the fifth.